Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Workday HCM overview session. So this is a one quick slide about me. As I said, I am Abhijit. You could call me Abhi. I am part of the Workday HCM pre-sales team. So today's demo is going to be a very small, quick sneak peek for all of you. We will talk about an executive and HR executive's experience in Workday, and the idea is this is how you can optimize Workday for all your executives who need the right information at the right time to make the correct decisions. And with that, I'll move straight into demo. So let's just quickly switch to our Workday demo. All right, so here we are. So this is Logan, who is a VP HR, and we're talking about her experience on a mobile device. So in this case, what I have done is I am actually taking you through the next few minutes on an iPad. Now with Workday, you will see that as you start using Workday, we have one single mobile application. It's a native app available for iOS and Android. And the key thing about Workday is whether you are an HR executive, whether you are a CXO, whether you are a manager, whether you are an employee, whatever role you might have, whatever function you may want to perform, as simple as self-service or heavy duty analytics, you have that one single app to go to, and your experience remains same across your entire HR life cycle. So with that, let's go into Logan's Workday app. Now, Logan is a VP HR in this case, and she has to prepare for an executive meeting coming up very soon. And let's just assume in today's world, she is traveling somewhere, stuck in a traffic jam. And how does she utilize that time to prepare for her executive committee meeting? So what she can do is, or any executive, what they can do is just take out their mobile devices, in this case, it's an iPad, and start working on her Workday application. The moment she logs in, you'll see we have a few announcements out there where the idea is your organization can reach out to people, specific set of people, and broadcast whatever announcements they want to that specific set of people. So when Logan logs in, she can see the announcements meant for her. She can also see a lot of frequently used apps that she uses on a day-to-day basis. And as she goes in, she can see some other highlights, and right at the bottom there is a navigation tray. What you will realize as we go on is that we try and make sure that the end user experience your employees get with Workday is similar to what they get with consumer applications. And that is because most of your employees, especially the millennials, spend most of their time on their LinkedIns, on their Facebooks, on their Instagrams and Snapchats and whatnot. So today, when you talk about getting their attention, you're not competing with a corporate application, you are actually competing with consumer applications, and that's where we try and do our best to learn as much from them and provide a similar experience to your employees. So before Logan goes about to prepare and get ready for her meeting, let's just do a quick look at the various options she has. So at the bottom, there's a navigation tray. If I click on the inbox, now this is one single enterprise inbox, and this ensures that whatever function Logan might be handling in Workday, and remember, Workday is not just an HR application, it's also a finance application. It's an entire platform for you. So that means whatever she might need to do, be it an HR application, be it approve an absence request, approve an expense request, approve a purchase requisition, to approve learning request, wherever she needs to perform any action on her Workday system will always be pending in her inbox. So at no point of time is she ever lost. At the same time, she also has a notification inbox where other notifications that you might want your employees to look at would always be pending. For example, something as simple as sending pulse surveys or engagement surveys. So if you want to send those to your employees, you can very well configure those surveys or any kind of alerts that you want within Workday, and those can be sent out to your employees. Now let's move to why we actually came here, and that is Logan needs to prepare for her executive committee meeting. And you will see she has an access to a lot of widgets. Now all these widgets define that based on the single security of Workday, you decide who has access to what, and basis that when they log in, they have access to those very widgets, nothing more, nothing less. Now, in this case, she wants to have a look at her dashboards because she is preparing for her executive committee meeting. And you will see she has a lot of dashboards configured for her access. So again, this is where your security determines that who is going to get what kind of dashboards and what kind of data will be available in those dashboards. Workday single security will ensure that right from the CEO to the employee down, if everyone has access to the exact same dashboard, the security will ensure that in that exact same dashboard, they only see the reports and data that they have access to. Having said that, Logan has access to a lot of things. Now she just moves down, scrolls down a bit, and she has this specific dashboard called Executive Workforce Scorecard. Now this is a dashboard which she usually uses for her executive committee meetings to prepare for those meetings. Now you will see as this dashboard loads, this is in a this is in a scorecard form. This is like a 30,000 feet view of what all is happening in the organization. And here you will see data from across multiple modules.
And this is where you see Workday's power of one shining through. So if you have a look at this dashboard, on the top left right here, what you can see is a headcount to plan workload right there. So what this workload is telling you that you have planning, workforce planning being done in Workday planning, but at the same time, in real time, you can see what does your current headcount look like with respect to what you had planned. Then if I move a bit to the right, you will see a simple scorecard talking about enabling business growth. And one thing that you will see common across all these various scorecards, which are, as I said earlier, at 30,000 feet, is they all have their own metrics, which means you can configure your own metrics which suit your organizations and different roles in your organizations. And at the same time, you will see everything is color coded here, which means in one snapshot, you can see what is green, that's going good, what is red, which may require your immediate attention, and what is amber, which you can probably delete for some time. So it's all coming right at you in one single snapshot. And if you go and have a look at these various scorecards, you will see the enabling business growth. Now, this talks about taking data from your core HR in terms of what is your headcount figures, how many employees, how many contingent workers. It also talks about recruitment, where it will tell you what is your average time to fill. So it talks about recruitment figures also. If I go a bit to the left, you will see the retain and engage talent scorecard. It talks about attrition figures. How are you doing in terms of retaining employees, be it voluntarily or be it even high performer turnover? If I go to the extreme right, I'll be able to see data from your organization setup in terms of span of control, org levels, diversity. And then if I scroll down a bit, I'll be able to see data from my talent details, in fact, promotion rate, for example, employee movements. To the extent that right at the bottom, I also see compensation figures in terms of average compa ratio. This is where I talk about that power of one or that Workday platform, where in that one single dashboard, you can see data from your end-to-end HR hire to retire cycle, because Workday as a platform has all these modules built from scratch on the exact same platform. So in the same dashboard, you can see all these things. And as we go further, you will also see how it's not just the dashboards or the scorecard that you can see, but you can start drilling down and go from that 30,000 feet scorecard right into the internal individual employee details. And before I go there, let's just have a look at this particular scorecard or this particular tile at the bottom right. And this talks about total revenue. And this is what we talk about in Workday. It can also serve as your one single platform for HR and finance. So Workday is not only an HR system, but it has planning as well as finance built all on the exact same platform, which means you can make sure that if you want to enable your employees, your key stakeholders to have access to information as well as transactions from both the systems, you can do that. For example, in this case, you see that someone like Logan, who is a VP HR, also needs to have an idea of what's happening in terms of the organization revenue. She may want to see revenue details. She may want to see further details around how do you classify this revenue. And with Workday, one single platform from HR and finance, you can empower all your stakeholders to have access to the entire organizational statistics on their one single application, one single mobile device.
So let's go and dig a bit deeper. Now, on the face of it, you might be thinking, this is a good dashboard. I can see lots of things, but then I can also create these dashboards on my own. I can use Excel sheets, I can use PowerPoints, and I can on my own create all these dashboards. So do I need an entire new system just to uh, create dashboards and let my executives see those dashboards. Now, that's where you will see as we go on Workday differs. So while this is a 30,000 feet dashboard, but someone like Logan, if she wants to prepare for her meeting and she wants to understand the data behind these dashboards, what's going on, she can start drilling down. So for example, in this case, she might want to see, okay, I have my worker headcount. Now let me have a look at what does my worker headcount mix look like, because maybe she has been given targets that you should not have X number of contingent workers or contract workers vis-a-vis your employees. So she can now start drilling down on that 30,000 feet dashboard and start going into the further details. So in this case, she can see, okay, this is what my employee to contingent worker or contract worker mix looks like. I have around what 91% employees, contingent workers around 9%, which might be good enough. So now what? So again, you might ask me, okay, good dashboard, good graph to drill down into, but again, nothing path breaking. I can actually see these dashboards or graphs, or I can create them on my own. So what's so great about that? And this is where we'll start showing you that power of Workday, the power of one, and how you can utilize that. For example, in this case, let's assume Logan has been told that her customer satisfaction level is going down, and maybe now she wants to have a look at how are my customer service representatives or employees in the customer service profile, how are they actually performing, why are the levels going down, what do we need to do. So for such a scenario, someone like Logan, she does not need to go into one more system. She does not need to log in, log out, or open something else, go to some other report. She can start drilling down right from here. Now, if she clicks on employees, what Workday will do for her is it will automatically show her a lot of various dimensions that she can drill by, and this is what we call as the object model of Workday. So what happens in Workday is each object is automatically linked to multiple other objects. So for example, Workday knows employee is an object, and an employee can be linked with a job profile, can be linked with a location, can be linked with a performance rating, can be linked with a cost center. So without you having to do anything, the moment she clicks on employee, Workday will tell her, now how do you want to explore this data. So in this case, she might say, since I want to know about customer service reps, let's have a look at how these employees are spread across by their job families. So she can just simply click on job family, and in real time we will take that simple pie chart of employee to contingent workers and now show you all the employees split by their job families, again without having to go anywhere else. Now in this case, she might say, okay, I need to have a look at all my customer service reps. So she can see all the customer service reps right here. Now she might say, okay, good enough, I have that number there. Now let's have a look at how these guys are performing. So she'll say, okay, let's again drill down by something like performance rating. So she can see, okay, her rating data is there. She clicks on that. And now this customer service rep profile, everybody in that profile is automatically shown how, by their performance ratings. How are these guys performing? You might say, okay, let me see how many people I have who are performing really well. So she sees, okay, there are around 5 people there. And now she might want to know, who are these 5 people? Who are the ones who are doing well even when my customer sat levels are going down? And so she can just click on view details, and now she can see the details of all those 5 people in the customer service job profile who are performing really well. Now, let's just take a step back. We started off at a 30,000 feet scorecard, and from there we drilled down the way we wanted. We went into core HR data, we went into performance data, we went into performance ratings, and from there we drilled down right into the individual employee data. And that's that Workday's power of one, where number one, you can drill down or you can have data from across the entire HR spectrum, and then you can start drilling down the way you want, because analytics as well as transactions are in the exact same system.
And when you look at this chart and then scroll a bit to the right, you will be able to see this last column which talks about call center issues resolved. Now, keep in mind, these are call center employees who are actually talking to the end users on the call center floor. Now, what Workday does is it enables you to pull this real-time information from your operating system. So this might be something that you might be storing maybe in your Avayas, in your CRMs, in your other operating systems, or maybe point of sale in different organizations. And what Workday will let you do is seamlessly, number one, import this outside operational information into your HR system, and then more importantly, blend it with your actual HR reports. So if you see here, this is a report which talks about, okay, I have drilled down to employees who are doing really well. And from there, I may want to compare that if they are doing well in terms of my HR rating, but how are they doing in terms of actual operational data? And with Workday's functionality of importing this actual operational data and blending it with your HR data and seeing that report side by side, where you can now see my HR information as compared to my operational information and are they in sync or not, gives you a much more holistic way of evaluating your employees rather than just looking at one aspect of their performance.
And mind you, with Workday, you don't just stop here. So what I'm trying to say is, while you already see enough of employee details here, but since this is the same HR system, same finance system that you are using for analytics on your mobile devices, that means you can go even further. So if I have a look at, let's say, all these various countries for these employees, and I might say, Logan might think, okay, I have one employee in UK, one in Canada, one in India, one in Norway, and one in Korea. Now, maybe logic will tell her, common sense will tell her, India is a low cost country while all the other ones are much higher cost countries. So she might say, maybe I need to go to the board and tell them that we need to hire more people like this employee here, Ajay, who is in a low cost country and still performing really well. And she might want to see who this employee actually is. So if she clicks on his name, on her iPad, on her mobile device. It could be an iPad, it could be an Android phone. On that mobile device, from that 30,000 feet, she can actually now drill down into the individual employee profile. And that is the beauty of that power of one, where your analytics and transactions are in the exact same system. And now if she wanted, she could actually go through his entire profile in detail. So she can go and have a look at each of his profile components, his job components, compensation components, performance components. She can do all that because all that data is in the exact same system in which she was seeing those dashboards and scorecards. Or if she wanted, since again the same system for transactions also, she could click on these three dots. Now, whenever in Workday you see three dots or the word action written there, that is again an example of an object model. You click on those three dots and Workday will automatically tell you that based on your security access, what actions can you perform. Now, she being in VPHR has a lot of access, a lot of things that she can do. So once she sees his profile, she can again decide, okay, so I have had a look, this guy is doing really well, maybe I want to reward him for that. Now, how she could have multiple ways of rewarding him. She could simply go and say, okay, let me request for a one time payment, and she could just click on that and request for a one time spot award or something right from her mobile device. Or she may say, okay, let me give him some feedback. She can actually go down into his profile and also give him feedback there and then. So all that she can do while she is on the move on her mobile devices, so everything is at her fingertips. So that's one example of how Workday ensures that you can, number one, have access to your entire spectrum of HR data and even finance data, as we talked about the revenue figures there. From there you can drill down the way you want. You're not restricted by somebody telling you, oh, I have only this one report configured. If you want to see something else about that report, I need to go and create 10 more reports for those 10 more needs. As you saw in Workday, you can drill down the way you want, based on your curiosity. And then from there you can drill down right into employee data. You can actually see third party data also blended together in your employee data. And if you want, you can go down into employee profiles on your mobile devices, have a look at the profile data, and even take actions on your employees on your mobile, provided you have that access. And that's the kind of power we give to our employees and executives right on their in their fingertips. All right, from here, before I actually just close this quick snippet, I'll show you one more thing. So once we start showing such kind of analytics and the power of this analytics to our customers, uh, the questions that we usually get are, apart from this analytics, what do you have in terms of machine learning or predictive analytics? Now, of course, Workday has a lot of data in terms, a lot of use cases in terms of machine learning. In fact, we try and ensure that all our machine learning is inbuilt in the Workday system, in your reports, in your transaction data, and you don't need to go anywhere else. And I'll show you one small example of that. So let me just scroll down to one more dashboard which Logan usually uses, and that's called the retention analysis dashboard. So let's just click there. Now, this is a dashboard which talks about predictive analysis with respect to employee attrition. So the moment Logan comes here, Logan can see a few predictive analytical figures. For example, on the left right here, she can see the various factors which are affecting retention. So this talks about things like average compa ratio, number of promotions, tenure is what you can see in this case. What we usually do is we take into account close to 100 plus factors, and then based on those 100 plus factors, we apply our own algorithm and come up with what are the factors which are most affecting your employee attrition. So we help our customers with that. On top of that, if you look at the right here, we also talk about showing you all your employees at various risk levels based on this machine learning algorithm that we run. For example, here we can see how many employees at a low risk, how many at a medium risk, how many at a high risk. Now, if I go inside, again, true Workday fashion, you can drill down here also. So as I drill down here, I'll be able to see, okay, who are these employees who are at a high level of risk. Let's go there. Let's click on done. And once I do that, Workday will actually take me right into the details of these employees who are at a high level of risk. Now, as I see these details, the first employee which pops us is the same employee Ajay, whom I was thinking of saying that, oh, this is a sample employee. Let's hire more employees like him, doing well, low cost country. But then, if this employee is at a higher level of risk and he decides to leave in a month or two, it would not look good on Logan's part. So Workday helps you avoid such situations also. So it tells you, okay, this employee predictive analysis says is at a high level of risk. Again, if I just scroll down, it'll tell me, okay, what are his job details, what are his talent details, and what is the factor which is most affecting him or because of which he is at a high level of risk. Now, of course, this is predictive analysis, and we don't just stop there. We go a step deeper, and we also talk about prescriptive analysis. So if I again go back into his profile, and if I click on those three dots which we showed you earlier, which talked about all the access and the actions that Logan can perform on someone like Ajay. So I just go into his talent details, and that is where Workday will start giving me retention recommendations. So what Workday is doing, it is telling me predictive analysis tells me this employee is at risk. This is why he is at risk. And then it applies prescriptive analysis to tell me that how can I mitigate that risk. So in this case, Workday says this employee is a customer service representative currently, and my recommendations based on movements in your own organization tell me that if you promote him to a senior customer service representative, 7 out of past such 8 transitions have resulted in the employee staying for more than 1 year. So hence, out of all my recommendations, I'll say this is a top recommendation that if you want to mitigate this risk, you should promote the employee and he might stay for more than a year. So it's giving you prescriptive analysis. It's telling you what are the various options. It's telling you which is the best option. And it's also telling you why is that a best option. And of course, once I click on it, you see it expanded to show me the entire job description. That's again the power of one. We are talking about predictive analysis, prescriptive analysis, and within there, it also goes into your core HR and picks up the employee profile data and shows it to you right there. So that's an example of the kind of predictive analysis and machine learning that we are building in the system. And as you explore Workday a bit more, you'll find a lot more things like Skills Cloud, like Talent Marketplace, like learning recommendations, and all those things which are being embedded across the entire HR spectrum, including things like recruiting, where we suggest skills to candidates, suggest matching jobs, and numerous such things. All right, I am almost ready to wrap up this small sneak peek. I'll just end with one small thing, and that is the assistant or the Workday bot. So now with Workday, you also get the inbuilt Workday assistant or the Workday bot. Again, this assistant or bot is available across all your devices, whatever devices you might be using, be it Android, be it iOS, or on your laptop. The bot is available everywhere. And as you see here, the bot can right now do quite a lot of things. For example, here are some of the things that the bot can do. Let me see if I click on show all, it might show this. it shows you all the various things that this bot can do. So you can search for your employees, for your colleagues, you can give them feedback, you can check your leave balance, you can even apply for leave, and as you see, it will point you towards lots of other things also. In fact, the bot can also tell you a joke. So if you ever get bored, you can just ask the bot to tell you a joke. So let's see. So why did the computer sneeze? It had a virus. So it has a sense of humor also. All right. I think this is what I wanted to cover in today's session. And I hope this gives you a good sneak peek into a lot of things that Workday does. And as we progress further and as we engage more, I'm sure we'll show you a lot more details around Workday HCM. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time.
Hello, everybody. I'm Evelyn. I am from the pre-sales team. So we're just going to quickly go into the demo to give you a feel of what Workday application is about. Let me switch my screen. Okay, so before we go on to look at the Workday Financial, I will just go through a few navigation point over here. On the top left-hand corner, you will see that this is the Workday logo, and this will bring you back to the home page whenever you're at any of the application screen. On the right-hand side, this is a notifications where users will get the notifications in terms of any of the reports that has been completed or any of the tasks that they have done. And towards the right-hand side of this particular alert itself is the inbox. So this is where the users will get a proactive alert in terms of the activity or tasks that they will perform, or approval require, or any approvals that require his or her attention itself. Today, I'm logging in as Teresa Serrano. As you can see from here, this is Teresa. And with a click of a button, you will be able to look at the profile of Teresa. So let me just open up the profile of Teresa. Teresa is actually the controller of this organization, Global Modern Services. All right, so she is a power user, so she will be able to access and view most of the reports. Let me go back to the home page. Now, just one more point on the search button over here. So as you can see, this particular UI is very similar to a consumer internet type of pages itself. So even with the search button, what you can do is really to type in the first three character of the item that you would like to search or task that you would like to search. For example, if I like to create a journal, what I need to do is just to type in a short character wording of CRE journal. System will give you a suggestion of the activities or tasks or reports that you're looking for. And from here, you will be able to go into the application to perform the activities that you like. So I'm logging in as Teresa, who's the controller of this organization. Teresa, in fact, would like to do some analysis. So as the controller of the organization, she would like to do some analysis of the business itself. So she gets to see this financial executive scorecard. Okay, so she goes into the scorecard. The financial executive scorecard is a set of KPIs or metrics that Teresa would be able to analyze on a day-to-day basis to look at the health of her business. So you can see from here on the left-hand side is a set of revenue numbers by revenue category. If I scroll down, there are information like cash flow, revenue, profitability, and Teresa would like to further analyze in terms of the net income. Any of the key metrics or KPI over here would allow Teresa to drill in to look at more details in terms of the business. So from here, Teresa would like to analyze the net income and the performance of the businesses. So from here, she can see that she gets to look at the actual versus budget. So she drill in. And system will produce another set of detailed report for Teresa. So from here, she can see that that's a current year profit and loss versus the current year budget, whether the number is favorable, and there's also a traffic light indicator to show Teresa that whether the business is doing fine compared with the last year figure. Now, from here, Teresa would be able to even drill down further to analyze any of the figures over here. So for example, if she go down the line and see that that's general admin, that's travel entertainment, and she would like to analyze a little bit more on the travel entertainment because travel entertainment has a rate indicator showing that it is 16% below the 16% above the budget itself. So she would like to actually take a look at the breakdown of this particular travel and entertainment by cost center or even by line of businesses or even by divisions. So any of the business dimension here, Teresa would be able to drill down to analyze those data into much detail. So in this scenario, Teresa is going to look at the breakdown by cost center to see which cost center actually spend the highest. Okay, and this over here, she can see a list of all the cost center. Okay, in most of the traditional system, usually the customers will only get to have a single dimension. Okay, but in Workday, we actually redesign the application to allow our customers to analyze in a multi-dimensional way. So besides analyzing by cost center, Teresa would be able to call out for another dimension to slice and dice to look at the figures. So she would like to take a look at it from a line of business perspective. And the system will produce a set of information in terms of the travel and entertainment expenses. She do a sort to look at which particular cost center or which particular line of businesses actually spend the highest in the T&E itself. So from here, she can further drill down and says that she would like to take a look at for the field sales North America, which particular worker actually spend the highest in the T&E. So she further drill down into the employee information. And the system will give a list of the travel and entertainment expenses by worker. So we can see from here that Brandon Harris actually has the highest amount. And Teresa would like to further look at the breakdown of what Brandon has spent on. So she drilled down further to look at the business document. And it shows that Brandon has submitted a couple of the expense report over here. Okay, and she picked up the highest and open up this particular expense report. So basically, Workday allows you to, based on the real-time data and drill down, analyze down to the source document. So from here, you can see that we actually open up a source document. So this is actually an expense report. All right. If I scroll down the line, we can see that there are various expenses that was being submitted by Brandon. That's airfare, that's meal, that's taxi, train, and so on and so forth. So if I were to go to the airfare expenses, on the right-hand side, you can see that there are some pre-populated information like cost center, region, as well as additional work tag over here. Now, these are the information that facilitate the system to be able to analyze all these numbers down to different business dimension or down to the different dimension that we are looking at. Going down the line, there are many other information like the item details. So for different type of expense type, there will be different information that is required by the organization, and all these are user configurable. So in this scenario, we can see that this is a airfare expenses, and with this particular expenses, the employee will need to enter information like the airline, the destination, and the country. If I were to go to another expense item, for example, meals, the system will ask for a different set of information, like who are the attendees, where's the destination of this particular meal, what's the business topics, and so on and so forth. Let me pick up another one, which is the lodging. And for lodging itself, again, if I go down the line, you will see that there are other information like hotel, the arrival date, the departure date, and the destination. So different expense type or different expense item itself, user will be able to configure different set of information that require the employee to fill in before submitting the expenses. Okay. Now let's go to the business process. Now in Workday, every transaction is governed by the business process. Okay, we call this a business process framework. So this is to ensure the control and the compliance set by the organization, and nobody would be able to change, nobody will be able to make any unnecessary changes or any changes without going through a business process. So from here, we can see that this is a expense report event. Okay, so this is a expense report business process, and there are various steps that has to go through the business process itself. In Workday, business process is not just a workflow, it's in fact more than a workflow. So there are other activities like to-do lists or even for integration purposes. So the process consists of a set of workflow strictly not just only on approval. Okay, there are other activities that you can perform in the BPF itself. All right, so this is a business process. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go in and take a look at the detail of this business process. Okay, so we're going to search for business process definition. Okay, so again, I do a quick search by just typing a short character of the options or the task that I'm looking for, and system will suggest that you are looking for business process definition or maybe audit trail on the business process. So I'm just going to go into the business process definition. Okay, and from here, it will actually allows you to view the business process at a specific time range or a date stamp. So Workday actually provides up to close to 500 plus of the standard business process. So this is to facilitate that all this default business process, customers would be able to quickly get it up and running. However, all this business process itself is user configurable, so you can configure and tailor the business process to meet your organization needs. Over here, I'm just going to filter and look for one particular business process. Okay, I can do a filter, I can do a search. So I'm going to look for the accounting journal event, call out just this particular business process framework. And you can see from here that this is a business process accounting journal event for company hierarchy. So you can copy and create additional business process based on this particular format itself. So I'm just going to open up this business process framework. Now, in a lot of cases, in traditional ERP itself, whenever you see a workflow, you usually will look at it from a process as well as step-by-step basis. However, in Workday, besides giving a view of a process step, so you can see here there's a step A, B, C, D, and the various steps in all this process, you can also look at the business process from a diagram perspective. So I'm just going to open up this particular diagram. So it gave you a visual diagram to look at your business process. So traditionally, you may need to extract this information out into a visual in order to see this business process. So from here, you can see that this is in a diagram format. It shows you that it started off with initiate this particular journal. The journals contain a certain control account. If it is yes, it goes through an approval. If it is no, then what does it do? Does the journal is the journal higher than $10,000? If yes, it goes through an approval. If no, then it goes to the next step. So it gives you a visual way of looking at your business process. Okay, let me just go back to the earlier screen. Now from here, we can see that there are various steps on this particular business process. And what I've done is you can actually create additional step or amend this particular business process to insert additional steps if to fit your environment, to fit your organization environment. So from here, I have a step B1. And this step B1 is actually looking at any journal that's above 10,000 should go through an approval, and it should go through a cost center manager approval. Let me just open up this condition by going to a maintain step condition. Okay, so again, any changes to it, there will be a date stamp. Okay, so from here, we can see that this particular journal actually goes through the rule is basically to look at any journal that is more than $10,000, it will go through for an approval. Okay. Now, any change to the business process itself, in fact, will be governed by the audit trail. So any changes to this particular business process, let me just open up the audit trail and show it to you. So we're going to take a look at this audit trail to see who has made any change to it, what are the changes that has been made. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to look back to a further to a longer period itself. So from here, you can see that there was a change on 28th of May at this particular hours. One of the step has been added on. Okay, and you can see who actually added this particular step. So the list of all the audit trail will always be captured whenever there is a change in the system. And there's no way we can turn off this particular audit trail because this will ensure that the control and the compliance of the organization of the data itself is actually not compromised. Okay. So we have actually made a change on this particular business process by adding a step to go through an approval for any journal that's above $10,000. So from here, I'm just going to find out a journal. I'm just going to search for a journal and show you that these two journal, one is actually above 10,000 and then the other one is actually below the 10,000. So from there, you will see that the business process go through one of them will actually go through an approval and the other one actually don't need to go through an approval. So I'm just going to call out the journal Okay, so in this scenario, we are calling out the journals from the Global Modern Services organization for the period of 2020 in the May period. Okay, we'll see there's two journals. All right, one of the journal, 10068. Let me just open this up. And we can see that this journal, this is a journal screen, which shows you the period of this journal, what type of journal are this? And if I scroll down the line, we can see that these are the respective journal entries, okay? And this is a $5,000 journal entries. If I look at the process history, basically it get completed after Teresa have submitted this particular journal. It doesn't have to go through any other approval because this is below $10,000, right? Now, let me open up a second journal, which is above 10,000, and this is 11,000. Okay, so this is another set of journals. So you will see that this journal is going through the same double entry. However, the process will require Teresa to send this up to Eric Laszlo for approval as a cost center manager, because in our business process, we stated that anything above $10,000 will require the cost center manager for approval. Okay, so in summary, what we have gone through is that we have looked at the business analysis from Teresa's point of view as a controller and drill down to analyze the figure down to the source information. And all these informations are real time. And basically, the system allows you to look at it from a single platform as a single system itself, because transactions, reporting, and analysis are all within a system. Not only just on the financial data, it also includes the HR data. As you can see, when we do an analysis, we actually look at which particular employee actually spend the highest, and we can actually give certain feedback to this employee, or if, let's say, there are expenses that is out of certain policy itself. The second area that we look at is on the business process framework. So every transactions within Workday is governed by the business process framework. So this is to ensure the compliance and the control of the data, the accuracy of the data itself, to ensure that everybody follows this control or this process itself when the transaction go through. Okay, that's all for me today. Thank you very much.